So I see a lot of talk online about how you should store your tarot cards. This is my tarot bag at the moment. I used to have a Kipling bag for many years, but this is now a Bellroy office pouch. And this is what I store my cards in. I don't feel that we need to store our cards in silk or a wooden box or anything like that. However, if you like to store your cards in silk or a wooden box, then do. I don't think the cards need protecting from energies, as it were, because I think we, as the reader, are the tool. So if I'm going to clear anything to do with my cards energetically, I will and do clear myself. I don't energetically cleanse my cards. I do keep a crystal in here. This is a moss agate, just because I like it, really, just because it's calming and I find it helpful to hold sometimes. If I'm doing multiple readings, I may for different people, maybe in like a party or a fair-like event, I may place the crystal on top of the deck, but that's more as a sort of a psychological tool to me to sort of disconnect from client A before going on to client B. That's not actually about the cards. Other things I keep in my reading pouch, I do keep stick-it notes because sometimes they're really useful, and a pen. Unsurprisingly, I have a triple set of my own rune cards, and I do blend the tarot and the rune. It's a triple set because each rune is represented 3 times, which means that in a classic past, present rune reading, you can have, and I have had it happen, the same rune for past, present, future. I do have my business cards. Most of my readings now is paid for online because it's just much easier with organisation. But I do tend to carry a little bit of change, and I love this pouch. I'm wearing them at the moment, but my reading glasses will fit in there. And for me, actually, what I'm looking for in a pouch is that it's protected and ideally waterproof, because although I don't need to cleanse my cards energetically, I do think that they are really valuable to me personally. So I like to look after them. This deck is about 6 years old, I believe, and you can see how worn they are, but that is just through use. So for me, my pouch is about carefully protecting my cards. The easiest way, if you're reading, to make sure that you are energetically clear, if that is in your worldview, is to make sure that you are sitting with your feet flat on the floor, ideally in an upright position, a comfortable chair, and breathe up through the soles of your feet. The more grounded you are, the easier it is to intuitively connect to your cards. It's that simple. So for me, energetically cleansing my cards isn't something I would do, but I would take a few deep breaths before I read for a client or myself. I will adjust my position to make sure that my feet are flat on the floor and that my spine is upright. This is creating that axis mundi. That means that we are that divine channel between the earth and the sky, and it means that both our root and our crown chakras are being supported. And then when I'm shuffling, what I'm doing is that the first thing I'm doing is I'm actually checking in with myself. I'm regulating my breathing, adjusting my shoulders, and making sure that I feel calm and focused. When it comes to energy clearing, the most powerful things you have are your posture, your breath, and your intention. If you want to use crystals, And I do. One of my favourite pieces was a gift from my son, and it's beautiful because it's a bit like a mouse. And I do love to place my hand on that. But again, I don't need it. I love it. I use it. But I don't need it. So really getting into the habit to remember that if you are grounded and calm before you start reading the cards, and if you associate shuffling the cards with deepening your breath, coming into that centered, relaxed state of mind, then it will always help your tarot readings, even if that's for yourself or someone else. So try it. Just try it. And then if you're worried, whether you're reading for someone else or whether you're reading for yourself, if you're anxious about the reading, then just make the first reading as simple as possible. Just ask the cards, if you're reading for yourself, what do I most need to know? If you're reading for a client, what does my client most need to know? Because if you're reading for someone else and they've got really high expectations and they are wanting an answer to a complicated question, that is a lot of pressure. So as readers, it's up to us to do what makes reading easier for us. So if a client has come to me with a really complex question and they want accurate answers, I will often I'll listen, I'll mind map, but I will start with maybe a reflection spread or maybe a what do you most need to know spread. And it's just a way of easing into the reading, of getting into the flow, of connecting with the cards before I start the more complicated reading. And then throughout the reading, what I'm doing is I'm really checking in with my posture. I'm making sure that my shoulders are relaxed. I'm making sure that my feet are on the floor. I'm checking in with my breathing, because I know that the more relaxed and focused I am, the more relaxed my client is, particularly if it's an in-person reading, but even more importantly, the more accurate my readings are. So when you think about energetically cleansing your cards, again, if you like to do it and it works for you, do it. It's absolutely fine. But remember that the magic happens with you, the reader. So focus on your mind. Focus on your breath. Focus on your posture. Focus on reading in a way that you are comfortable and confident with, so that you can really ease yourself into the reading and get into the flow. And if you want to use crystals, if you want to use Palo Santo or Florida water or any of those things, or silk or wooden boxes, use them. But remember that you don't need them, that they are a choice. And the same with rune readings. I mean, I now, for myself and professionally, use my own cards all the time. I do have a friend who, if I want a rune reading, I would ask him. He reads with a rune set that was made by my first husband many, many years ago. When I realised this, I'd asked him to do a rune reading. We were sat together and I looked at the deck and I went, shit. Did my first husband make those? And my friend went, yeah. And I said, no, I don't want you to read with those. So my friend took a piece of A4 paper and he tore it up into little bits and he wrote the runes on them and he put them in an old sandwich bag. And he did a rune reading for me with those little bits of A4 paper. And it was just as accurate and just as insightful as every other reading he's ever done for me with his beautifully carved rune set. So it is nice to have a beautiful rune set, whether you use cards, mine are available from my website, or whether you've handmade your own set from apple wood and blooded them, however you want to do it. do it the way that you want to do it, but remember, whether you're reading with tarot or with runes, the magic is you. These are a tool. The magic is you. So it's breath, it's focus, it's posture, it's intention, it's clearing your energy and your mind so that you can magically use the tools of tarot or the runes.